Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a look at something pretty unique. It's a channeled message, reportedly from Archangel Michael, that came through someone known only as Peter.
Hmm.
And we're exploring what we call the mechanics of ascension. It's a really different take on spiritual growth. So our mission today is to pull out the key ideas for you.
Right, and it's quite structured, this message. It seems specifically aimed at esteemed colleagues, but also human souls more broadly. It really lays out a kind of roadmap.
Okay, let's unpack this. This core idea they have, it's called the threefold flame.
Yeah.
Described as like a divine spark right there in your heart. It's called the sacred trinity of love, wisdom, and power.
And it has these three specific parts, or plumes, they say. Blue, that's power. Yellow for wisdom. And then pink for love.
Exactly. And the source says this flame, well, it used to be huge,
Right.
big enough to sort of envelop our physical body.
Right, but then it got reduced dramatically.
Yeah, dramatically. Down to just 1/16 of an inch, supposedly because humanity misused its free will. So the whole point is our collective actions directly shrunk our potential. And getting back on track means rebalancing and growing that flame.
What's really interesting there, or maybe eyebrow-raising,
Go on.
is the claim that this spark, this flame, is a hot spot that medical researchers can actually, quote, physically observe in the upper left heart.
Trying to ground it in something physical.
Exactly. It feels like an attempt to give it that scientific legitimacy, but calling it physically observable without any real evidence. Well, it's a bit of a stretch, isn't it?
It is a leap. But okay, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. This threefold flame, they don't just call it a spark.
Yeah.
They describe it as a very powerful atomic particle accelerator.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And your spiritual progress, according to this, is directly linked to the spin of the electrons around the atom
Oh.
inside this, internal accelerator. A high spin, it says, can easily deflect all such negativity and destructive energies.
Okay. So that's obviously not literal physics as we know it.
No, definitely not.
But it's a really potent metaphor, isn't it? It's using the language of physics, the authority of it, to explain something metaphysical.
Yeah, it makes it sound almost technical.
Exactly. It turns consciousness or spirituality, these abstract things, into something that sounds like you can measure it, like you can just accelerate the spin. It gives you a clear goal.
So, okay, the big question then is, how do you accelerate the spin? How do you make progress here?
Well, the text says you need to get past these things called the rings passeth not.
Rings passeth not. It seems ominous.
It's described as a boundary, basically, a barrier preventing you from moving forward because of the delusion of separateness.
Ah, okay. The feeling of being separate from everything else.
Right. And to get past that, the message is pretty clear. You need to pull back from what it calls the effluvia of human consciousness.
Effluvia. Like
Things like newspapers, television, radio, life dramas, gossips, all that daily noise. It says these things keep your foot upon the brake of your spiritual accelerator.
so basically disconnect from the modern world noise machine.
Pretty much. And this leads to a really important point. The level of commitment needed. It issues this clarion call.
A clarion?
Yeah, for specific people it calls spearheads. And these individuals, it says, have to become, quote, alienated from normal life experiences and desires for a time, a period of isolation.
Wow. That's intense. Like monks almost. A serious withdrawal.
It's a huge ask. And it makes you wonder about the practicality, doesn't it?
Definitely. And this call, this isolation,
Yeah.
it connects to something even bigger, doesn't it? A prophecy.
It does. It's linked to the arrival of what are called new children. They're described as Christed beings.
Yeah.
But here's the really surprising part. They will not arrive on Earth through the normal birthing processes.
Wait, what? Not through normal birth. How else?
It doesn't quite specify how, but it does specify the conditions for their arrival.
Which are?
Earth has to be, and this is a direct quote, pristine in every respect. No contamination, no pollution, no negative human thought forms, no imbalances of any nature.
Whoa. So basically a perfect world.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
It puts the entire responsibility on humanity. We have to clean up our act physically and mentally on a global scale. It frames the whole thing as a divine experiment. Our actions determine if these beings arrive.
So wrapping this up,
Uh-huh.
what does this whole mean for you listening? This deep dive really shows a spiritual path that kind of uniquely merges these older esoteric ideas with this almost sci-fi pseudoscientific language.
Yeah, it's a fascinating blend.
It gives you this very specific, unusual framework for thinking about personal growth and even, well, global transformation.
Exactly, and it turns what could just be an interesting philosophical message into this really urgent call to action. It says your spiritual work is directly tied to this massive collective outcome, the arrival of these children. So here's something to maybe mull over. What parts of our world today, or even our own lives, could use that kind of clarion call, that focused, conscious effort to create pristine conditions, whether that means pristine, inside your own mind or pristine in the environment around you? What would that look like?